Hey Instagram, it's Dr. Rick and I've got an unboxing on these 1906 products. 1906 is a cultivator company for medical cannabis in the state of Illinois. The concept of what they're trying to push with these is to have microdosing. So I did do a video on microdosing, which is essentially building up the lowest possible dose in your bloodstream and having the effect come out without any side effects. And with medical cannabis, the two big effects are immunomodulation and then psychoactive, calm. Now the psychoactive or the THC part, much more pronounced than the CBD part. CBD is more for immunity, it's more for inflammation. It helps in the long run. It takes a while to build up and I've done videos on that. THC via edible or if you do it by inhalation, super fast, goes straight to the brain, so most people know how to modulate depending on what they feel. And if you're a medical cannabis card holder, or if I approved you, it's important to get the card, but it's also important to know how to use the product properly. This is a great plant, and it's not just your 1970s weed that we used to smoke back then. This has got medicinal properties to it, and with the multiple diseases that you're walking around with, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, a waist-hip ratio that's terrible, obesity, osteoporosis, pain. It's really important that you use as much non-medicine stuff as possible. Lifestyle change. And part of lifestyle change includes maximizing on proper foods and supplements. And this plant is a supplement. If you use it properly, wisely, you won't spend so much, you won't get high or overdose, and you'll have control of your symptoms while you work on the lifestyle changes. So 1906, I thought I would go through these. I can't necessarily open these because I have to go drive in about 2 hours, an hour. And if I take this as an experiment and I have a bad side effect, even at microdosing, this is 5 milligrams and 5 milligrams, THC to CBD, I'm gonna drive dangerously. I can't do that. So typically when I'm experimenting, I'll experiment in the evening with the new products, the unboxings. This is Go. It has Galangal Root, which comes from South America. It also has L-theanine and theobromine. I did a video on L-theanine. I think it's a very good supplement to use at night. It lowers blood pressure, helps with sleep. Also helps with anxiety by messing around with GABA and glutamate. Those are the two neurotransmitters in the brain. But for some reason, the Galangal Root should give you some extra power, I guess. In addition, the CBD and THC ratio is pretty standard, 1:1, but it doesn't say which strain of plant is in here. So there's many different cannabis plants. Some are sedating, indica, some are stimulating, sativa, but nowadays with the cultivators, man, those guys can Frankenstein any combinations. You take a sativa and make it sedating, or take an indica and make it uplifting. So I love what they're doing with balancing out, mixing them with terpenes. That's why I wanted to do the video. This has cannabis. They all have cannabis, but they also have a couple other things that work in unison with the cannabis. So this is not only an unboxing, it's also an FYI that just because you're taking cannabis medicinal medicine, inhaled, tablet, topical, doesn't matter. Whatever you're taking, it is medicine, but it's also affected by what you eat. The cannabis plant is fat soluble, so it's better for absorption to take it by mouth with food or with fat, especially if you're keto. It just works better. It gets absorbed faster, and when the food gets absorbed, the oil or oily substance, the cannabis byproducts are fat soluble. They get attached to the oil and they get pulled in with the oil product. So it facilitates absorption. That's why I have this here. This is DHA, which is an omega-3 oil. Omega-3 is not just fish oil. Fish oil has several different types of oil, and I'll put a link down below for my video. But omega-3 is the great EPA or DHA, this is DHA, that helps with brain and arthritis and inflammation. When you take fat or oil with your cannabis, it gets in faster. I also have this dressing, which is fatty, it's creamy. I love this dressing. This is how small they are, so they're not as small as I thought, but 4 of them come in a pack, and you cannot chew them, you have to swallow them. This one is Genius, which also has Galangal Root. And again, I'm not sure that Galangal Root is a stimulant, but probably carry properties of slippery blood, like aspirin. Aspirin stops clotting. Omega-3 oil stops clotting. Some people will say ginkgo biloba does the same thing. And when the blood is slippery, I'm assuming it gets into smaller places faster. This also has Bacopa, L-theanine, theobromine, rhodiola. So the Bacopa helps with mood and thinking. Rhodiola, definitely energizing adaptogen. L-theanine I talked about before, and theobromine comes from chocolate. So there's a feel-good that you get when you take theobromine. Sobacopa is an Indian herb, and Galanga comes from South Asia. So this is where the love came from, and love is made up of several different things. Catawaba, ashwagandha, muera, poamia, and catawaba are aphrodisiacs. Muera is from the Amazon, and the damania, which is another ingredient, comes from Mexico. All those things help with working as an aphrodisiac. One in particular helps men with regards to sexual dysfunction. Literature is a little bit lacking as far as how each of those individually help, but together, definitely. It's almost like a proprietary blend. We're not sure exactly what it'll do together in addition to the strain of the plant that they're using, but it probably has a little bit of a edge to it to soothe and increase desire. This is Bliss, and it only had Scaledium, theobromine, and magnolia. And Scaledium, I thought Scaledium was of the family of skullcap, but it's not. However, it's still an anxiolytic. It still works to get people high in South America, but I'm assuming that the combination here with the type of strain that they're using, which it's not indicated, will give you a relaxation effect. And I think most THC does give you a relaxation effect. Again, the names are really catchy, so hopefully they lean you into feeling that way. I'm not sure that the microdosing that they're suggesting will get you there. All these serving sizes are 4, so you only get 1 serving per packet. So to get you a level that builds up over time, you'd have to do dosing probably twice a day. Whether you buy 1 packet, which is $5, and do that twice a day, $10 a day, that's a lot of money. So if you're going to use it more as a pulse, there's no need to microdose. You just take a hammerful and hopefully it works. But again, as long as you're not driving in a little bit and don't have to make any fancy decisions, then you're okay. This is Midnight, which I'm assuming helps with sleep, in addition to the equal portions 1-to-1 of CBD and THC. This also has Cordalis rhizome, and that supposedly helps with emotion and gut. Now, whether it actually makes you sleepy or not, to make you relax. It also is to tighten up the lower esophageal sphincter so that the stomach and the gut gets used to having you lie back, preventing reflux, which is a side benefit, which a lot of people didn't know. But all these things just show you that there's ways to microdose. So I'll put the link down below on microdosing and the value and the studies that showed it's helpful. And then also supplementing. So as I mentioned, it works better and works faster when you take an edible and fatty food or an omega-3 capsule. It also helps to use probiotic. Some action of the probiotic will help the mood or help the effect work longer. And I believe I have a video on that. This is just one probiotic that I use when I'm fasting. It's always important to rebuild. Anyway, rebuilding might also help the digestion, absorption, and utilization of your medical cannabis plant. I just put this because this represents, this is helichrysum. It's in Panaway, my favorite essential oil that I always use on muscle aches. And just like all those active ingredients here, it helps when you have, say, a topical and you mix it in with Panaway. I'll have a video on my topicals that I have produced. You can use food to accelerate the absorption and the effect. You can also use combinations of different things on the medical cannabis menu to enhance the control of your symptoms without pushing you into spending too much money or getting high. Those two are side effects. And if you can keep it low and slow forever, that would be awesome. There are other benefits to using medical cannabis as well. Aside from controlling your symptoms, I think it does help in case you get COVID. It helps with resetting the gut and building up inflammation-controlled bacteria. It also helps with joints. It also helps with mood. It also helps with deeper sleep. So think about using this as a great medicine to maybe wean down on your current dose of prescription medicines, or just use it to enhance your care, enhance your lifestyle, exercise, nutrition, sleep, which is always kind of lacking. We all practice the standard American diet and the standard American lifestyle, which puts us into a standard American problem. obesity, high blood pressure, cholesterol, later on down the line, cancer, stroke, and heart attack, all before the age of 60, and that's terrible. So hopefully this gives you a couple of ideas. If you've tried any of the 1906 products, put them down below. If you have questions on microdosing, same thing. I'll put my link to the cannabis videos I've done in the past. Otherwise, thanks for watching at this time, and I'll see you at the next video.